Hey everybody. Yeah, I'm kind of working on my mom's paper here, or the typing up the or typing up the written part. Um, but a lot of people um, probably know this by now. But as you probably know, this past weekend, a big WWE, I guess you could say, released a major name when it comes to the roster, at least the Divas roster, in Kelly Kelly. And this is kind of a surprise when you think about it. I mean, you think this year you've already lost Karma, you've lost the Bella Twins, whether you like them or not, and now you're losing Kelly Kelly, and there's a possibility that Beth Phoenix could be leaving in the near future. So, I guess the obvious question that anybody has is, are we surprised, or at least am I surprised that uh, am I surprised that are we surprised, or as fans, or am I surprised that she's gone? I if you would have told me last year, that she'd be leaving the WWE, I wouldn't have believed you. You should be let go a year later, I wouldn't believed you. But I think what it was is, every time WWE hires divas like these models or actresses or whatever you want to call them, trains them to be trains them and trains them to be wrestlers or in-ring competitors, if you will, entertainers. Um, what you know, every time they hire them, they're mainly, in my opinion, they're basically setting themselves up for a fall unless they really sit these divas, these ladies down and explain how things work around there. I mean, I know not a lot of people like to hear that, but if you're depending on one of your divas to be the face of your division, your franchise of your division, then you got to sit that diva down and say, look, I know you want to probably explore or other options out there in the near future, but we want to make you the face of our division, so please try to focus more on this company and competing in the ring and contributing to storylines instead of trying to focus on anything else. And I think, that's what they should have done with the likes of a Kelly Kelly and the Bellas. They should, sit them down and say, look, this is how things go. I mean, I understand they want publicity. They want to get, they got their name out there. There's no doubt about it. But they want to explore other avenues. They want to get other people involved, other uh, opportunities, other entrepreneurships out there involved with the company. But when you allow a diva like, let's say, Kelly Kelly to do what she's done, you give her the Divas title, for goodness sake, last year. Something that, whether fans want to admit it or not, they've been waiting to see for a long time. And then all of a sudden, it's like, now a year later, you let her go. And again, all WWE has to blame for that is themselves, because what they did, whether they want to admit this or not, is they shot themselves in the foot. They shot themselves in the foot when they allowed Kelly Kelly to take time off. I look at that and I think, well, yeah, I can understand letting her have time off because she's not that much of a wrestler. I mean, she competes and everything, and she's improved in the ring. I'll give her that. But she's not as experienced as a Beth Phoenix, or Tamina, or even, heck, I hate to say it, an Alicia Fox, or even an Eve. So, and I can understand her being the prettiest, if not one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful diva they had on the roster, I can understand them wanting to use that to get, like I say, to explore other avenues, to get other businesses or sponsors or whatever involved with the WWE. I can understand that. But what you do when you're WWE, what you do in that process is you start shooting yourself in the foot because you're allowing said diva to explore these other options for you, but she starts not just exploring them for your company, which is good, but she starts exploring them for herself as well. I mean, let's take Stacy Keibler, for example. Stacy was one of the most popular divas they had in the 2000s. Let's not kid ourselves. She was the most popular diva, one of the most fan favorite divas out there. And look what happened. She goes to Dancing with the Stars. Soon after that, she's released. She's dating George Clooney now and doing whatever. The same thing's happening with Kelly Kelly. And that's the problem. I mean, they allowed... And the same thing with Tori Wilson. I mean, these were potentially great divas to have as the faces of your divas or women's division, whatever you want to call it. And yet you let them go because of what reason? Because you let them explore other options. I mean, I can understand if a Trish Stratus or a Lita say, hey, I'm going to wrestle my last match. At least they allow themselves to wrestle the last match instead of just saying, oh, I just want to be instead of just, being let go because they want to do other, explore these other options. And I'm not saying it isn't bad for the likes of a Tori Wilson, a Stacy, and a Kelly Kelly to want to explore other options. I'm not denying that. But apparently it seems that, Kelly Kelly, and I like Kelly Kelly, I do. I was a fan, I was and am a fan of Kelly Kelly. But the thing is, if you look at someone, I mean, the way I looked at it, WWE looked at Kelly as being the face of the division, the Divas division. And now they got to find a new face. Maybe Sarah Del Rey is going to be that face. We don't know. But the thing is, all WWE has to blame, if they want to blame themselves for her, and for both sides, for her and them agreeing to releasing her, is themselves. I mean, from what I understand, back in May, they allowed her to have time off. But not only that, they gave her perks. They allowed her to actually make independent appearances while still under contract to them. And what happens there is apparently if you want somebody to be dedicated to your schedule, you're basically showing them, hey, here's a better schedule if you do independence. And it's like, are you serious? So again, all WWE has to blame for having to mutually agree to her release is themselves. I mean, you let her go out, you let her, I guess from what I understand, do those independent wrestling appearances for independent promotions. You let her have that time off, you let her explore these other options, which is good to see what else is out there. But you should at least sit her down and say, hey, look, we want to get a few more matches out of you before we let you go, or before you decide to hang them up. Now, am I saying she'll never come back? I'm not saying that, but let's take a look at history. Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler, they did the exact same thing. They never came back. They were let go afterwards, and they never came back. They never had one last match. And like I said, the benefit you could say about Alita and a Trish is they were beautiful themselves, but at least they had the commitment, and at least they had enough commitment to say, hey, we want to explore the options, or we want to spend time doing other things, but we will at least go out and have one last match before we leave the business or leave the company. At least they have the commitment to do that. I mean, Michelle McCool last year when she faced Layla in that match at Extreme Rules. Yeah, she wanted to take time off from the business, rest up a little bit, have a family, which obviously they did, which obviously her and Taker do. But at least she went out with at least she had one last match before she left. You see, and again, this is all about the fact that WWE is allowing these beautiful divas who they know have the potential to be great competitors if they take the time with them to walk off and do other things. I mean, I'll tell you this honestly. I think it all began, honestly, this whole situation where she wanted to explore, Kelly wanted to do these other endeavors, these other opportunities. It all started with that Maximum magazine deal. Not saying it wasn't a bad thing, and not saying it was a bad cover. Hell, it was a gorgeous cover. But the thing is, you basically allowed her, you basically started the wheels turning for her to consider just saying, you know what? It's time for me to explore other options, and maybe wrestling is not for me anymore. I mean, come on, honestly. When you think about it, that's obviously what it was. Well, that obviously started the wheels turning, you know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not trying to say, and I'm not trying to point out the fact that, you know, she doesn't deserve to explore these other opportunities. I do. But what I'm saying is if you're going to train these women to compete in the ring, even if they're not that good, or they're still learning the ropes, you do it. When you do it, you sit them down and you say, hey, look, if you're going to be part of this company and part of this wrestling business, you got to put 100%, 110%, or 150% commitment into this business, into this company, if you're going to be part of it. If not, there's the door. And hopefully Sarah Del Rey, who's one of the top, if not one of the top independent women wrestlers out there, or best women wrestlers out there, hopefully she'll sit the divas she's going to help train and probably work with in the future down and compete with and say, look, you either give 150% commitment to this company and this business, or there's the door. So, but honestly, am I surprised by it? Well, after her being absent as long as she was, the word going around that she was allowed to do she was allowed to make appearances at independent promotions. You know, it doesn't really surprise me, but hopefully maybe she'll be back. We'll just have to wait and see. But overall, my thoughts on it are, you know, again, I think WWE just shot themselves in the foot. You know, I don't know if you agree with that or not. And as far as the tag team title tournament goes, to get that off my chest, I think it's a good deal. Hopefully it will revive the tag team division in the WWE. And, you know, hopefully like Schleg Daddy says, and people asking him those Q&A questions about during his SmackDown review have said, hopefully whatever happens after this tournament and after Hell in the Cell, it doesn't result in the tag team division becoming stagnant again. I don't think it will, because as it's been reported, Triple H is a fan of tag team wrestling and he wants to keep the focus on it. That's probably why you don't see much focus on the Divas division, except for the storyline that's continuously developing. And it's because he is a fan more of tag team wrestling. It's like he wants to do tag teams first, then probably focus on the Divas. But again, hopefully this is just the start of something big for the tag team division. But those are my thoughts on Kelly being released and on the tag team title tournament. Before I go, who do I think is going to be in the finals? Well, I definitely think it's, well, not in the finals, but who do I think is going to face Team Hell No? I think it's going to be Road Scholars. I just feel it. I mean, they wouldn't, like people would say, they wouldn't be starting something between them if it wasn't going to, if they didn't want to go with that potential feud. So, that's all I'm going to say on the Tag Team Title Tournament and Kelly's release. Comment, video response down below. Tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with what I said about the reasonings behind Kelly's release? And do you agree with my predictions for the team to win the tournament and face Team Hell No, Kane and Daniel Bryan at Hell in a Cell? Let me know down below. Comment if you like, and I'll talk to y'all later. I gotta work on this paper now.